Well, I'm back, ready for another beer review for the SJPorr 2019 challenge. I am not teacher Laura. This is where my wife teaches English as a second language online, so you get a little geography lesson along with your beer review tonight. For the SJPorr challenge this year, I'm really going to focus on doing relatively quick reviews and then focusing most of my time and energy on the score sheet. So I'm going to open this. I'm going to give my initial reactions, initial impressions, and then I'm going to go take this and score it. So this is entry B, not B. A B will come. 28B-RD2-W49. Again, that's 28B-RD2-W49. And there's no style, no ABV, no nothing on this. All it says is, don't fear the surface. So when I first read that, I thought, okay, maybe it's a sour and it's got like a pellicle on the top or something like that, but it's not the case, and it looks really dark. But other than that, I have no other info on this beer. So let's do this. Like I said, I'm expecting very dark, and it is so. It's pouring pretty dark brown, but once it's in the glass, it's almost black. Only a little bit of carbonation to it. So I can see some bubbles streaming up, so it's definitely carbonated. Oh, wow. Ooh, I may have to... So like I said, again, it's carbonated, but from visually it looks lightly carbonated, not really any head to speak of, but even when I move the glass, you can see those bubbles kind of rising up off the surface. Really, really dark. You can see some brown on the edges, but predominantly almost black. You're getting some roast notes off the nose. And almost some really dark, kind of dark fruit character. It's really interesting. And here's why I'm hesitating. I may have my nose betray me completely because I almost smell some kind of, well, I get a little bit of roast, a little bit of coffee note, a little bit of chocolate, but I'm almost getting like a Brettanomyces note. But I could be completely off. There may be something else in here that's messing with that. So let's dive into this before I make a fool of myself. Aha! It's because there is. Wow. That's cool. So there's definitely a Brettanomyces presence in here, and I really like it. I like what it's doing. Again, no idea what the target style for this was, but now tasting it, there's probably not really much of a target style. I would almost describe it as like a Schwarzbier, but not as roasty as maybe, but Schwarzbier's not that roasty. Almost kind of like a Schwarzbier with Brettanomyces presence, a little bit more chocolate, but you've got some roasty notes in here. It's really pretty clean. It's well fermented, but there's definite presence of a little bit of fruity Brettanomyces. There's not a ton of funk presence to it. But there's definitely a nice fruity Brettanomyces character that kind of plays really well with the roasty, almost like really light coffee hints. So sometimes when you get into the real light roast coffees, you can get some, you get more fruit character than you do in a lot of the others. And that's kind of coming out a little bit. along with just a hint of chocolate. It really reminds me of a beer I did a long time ago, and some of the brew tubers actually helped me with it. I did like it was actually a second runnings of a beer, and it was a second runnings of a stout, but I did chocolate, coffee, raspberries, and then Brettanomyces. And this is kind of playing in that same arena. It is, ooh, excuse me, just as I burp. It is very lightly carbonated, but that doesn't necessarily detract. I think if you had a lot of carbonation on here, you wouldn't get some of the richer notes that are not super forward, but because of the lightness of the carbonation are kind of present. I think you would lose those. This is a really cool beer. This is up my alley. I'm fascinated by this. I'm really impressed. It's well done. It finishes remarkably clean. No real funk on like the back of the tongue when you know, there's no like lingering Brett character. And it kind of ends down in with kind of like a toffee, roasty character. Visually, it's really nice. It's really dark. You know, it's not super pretty to look at when there's no head to it. But that can be due to a lot of different factors. But I mean, it's a pretty beer. I don't you can't really see it that well in the camera, but it's a nice looking beer. It smells really nice. It's got that fruity, chocolatey, roasty component to it with some dark fruit character, and it tastes really nice. That's a fun beer. I'm excited to go sit with this, score it, and first of all, it's really cool to get. Most people aren't going to play with Brettanomyces and dark malts, roasted malts. So I applaud the effort here, and it's really well done. And yeah, it's not something you're going to see often. So this is, again, 28B-RD2-W49 with a beer called Don't Fear the Surface. I don't know if that's the beer name or if that's actual instructions. But didn't fear it. Quite to the contrary, I'm really enjoying this beer. So I'm going to go score this thing. Well done to the brewer. And dude, this is round 2 of SJPorr. Kicking butt. Cheers, y'all.